How's it going, guys? On today's episode of What That Wednesday, we will be talking about vertical jigging So if you're just getting started or you're interested in getting into jigging, then I suggest that you go with sorry. I suggest that you go with a brand like a starting brand like Jig. You can get it in any shop that you go to, Hanapa, POP, Molly Sporting Goods. They're usually the biggest stock. They have probably the biggest stock of Jig jigs, and yeah, this is one of the jigs that I started with. When I first started vertical jigging, I did pretty well on this, and especially when you're just starting, you want to start with something that you can get used to. So I did use a slow fall jig, and I started this, and after that I upgraded ever since. Now let's talk about starter jig. So of course this is another Jig. It's a pink and glow. You can get this at, like, again, POP, JNE, and Maui Sporting Goods. You can check out Maui Sporting Goods because they are Jig official store with Major Craft rods. And Jig and Major Craft are usually together, so you can check them out at Maui Sporting Goods. And yeah, this is one of my other first jigs that I started using when I first started, because you want to choose something that you can get used to first instead of just going straight into something that's more advanced. So now we're going to talk about more advanced jigs that I use. So this is a pencil jig. It is 150. As you can see, it's been through some stuff and caught some fish. So I don't think they sell this at any other store except J&E, so you would have to go to J&E to pick one of these up. This is one of my favorite jigs to use because the way it flutters down really, really nicely, and it's really controlled. It's almost like, I'd say, a fairly good weight also. And I did catch my PB giant trevally or alua on this jig. So people have questions about what kind of reel to use. Well, I use a 10,000 Saragossa. I have 65-pound test J-braid on here. The reason why I like J-braid other than Power Pro is mostly because it has like it's really soft, and it feels super nice going through your guides. It's not like rough and stiff. This is like really flexible, and I kind of like that more than Power Pro. But of course it's all up to you, and I do have a custom Gomexis power knob on here, mostly because the football kind of handle would give me blisters a lot, and I just didn't really care for it. But I do use this for fast vertical jigging other than slow fall jigs. So yeah, so this is the reel I use. So why go with a 10,000 reel other than, maybe like a Spheros 20,000? Well, you can see the big difference in size just because my camera can't even fit both of them in. The Spheros is about 1 pound for the 20,000. That's my plug-in reel. But for jigging, I like to go with something smaller because, hey, you're going to be going up and down all the time, and you want something that's light and something that won't make you fatigued. So this is why I chose a 10,000 reel, and 10,000 reel is big enough, especially if you're just going for vertical jigging and not going really heavy stuff. That's might need bigger gear. Even for some people, they use Stellas, but they still don't go maybe to a 20,000 size because that is kind of overkill, and they just stick to a 10,000 size. So yeah, that's the reason why I chose a 10,000 size reel. When you go jigging, you're gonna catch more AJs than you will other fish. So maybe you might be targeting a different fish, but you'll catch an AJ instead. I never knew there was that much kahalas in Hawaii until I started jigging. and you wouldn't really know how much, like, how irritating they can be when jigging until you keep catching them over and over again. Like, I mean, they're a good, fun fish to catch, but if you're trying to catch them to eat, I wouldn't really want to catch kahalas because they have worms in them, and you would want to go with something more tasty, so to say. I mean, don't get me wrong, kahalas are very, very tasty fish, but when you keep catching them and you're trying to target something else, it does get kind of irritating. Now let's talk about this. This is a jig that I got off of Amazon. It came in a 3-pack, and it is 200 grams. And so it came in as a 3-pack. It was only $12. So, you know, it only came with the jig, of course. And so what you use is a stinger hook. And if you look at any other jigging video, they have a split ring connected to the jig that's connected to a stinger hook. And when I do tie my stuff off, I do tie it with the split ring. So you put the split ring on and then the stinger, and I tie my leader line to the stinger eye. So here, I'll show you. So this is a typical stinger hook. This one is from Ocean Cat Jigs. So this is what you do. You have your jig, you attach your split ring to this top part, and it dangle down like this. And that should be good enough, but you can also put a trailer stinger hook in the back, or you can put a treble. So where you tie off is this part right here, not the split ring. You want to make sure that you tie off on the solid ring instead. So yeah, that is how you tie on a stinger hook to your leader line. So what type of line would you use? Well, for me, I like to use 70-pound test. 70 to 80-pound test is a good amount, especially when going for GTs or AJs in Hawaii, because usually they go straight into the holes and you get cut off. So that's why I like to use a fairly heavier line. People do use 40-pound, 30-pound. I just kind of want to stay on the safe side when I'm fighting a bigger fish like uluas and kahalas, mostly because I want to make sure that I can get it off the bottom as fast as I can. Now, if you want to catch, you know, uku or vekuula with vertical jigging, it is very, very much possible. It's just you gotta be in the right spots, you gotta be in the right areas, and when you do catch it, it's like, woo, hooray, something special, new gift, you know? So it's something that's gonna get you stoked, and I think vertical jigging is one of the most fun things to do than just bottom fishing with bait, because you're actually working a metal piece that's supposed to resemble a fish and doesn't even smell like a fish, and fish catch it, or fish eat it. And that's what makes me just love vertical jigging. And just to catch something after, you know, a whole time of just not knowing how to jig, and you're just starting to get your rhythm down, that is the best feeling in the world. I hope you guys are all doing safe out there. Until next time, shooties!